In this tutorial video, I'm going to show you guys how to use the increment function in make.com. What this tool does is basically throw out a number that increments by 1 each scenario run. So the first scenario, it'll throw out a 1, the next scenario run, it'll throw out a 2, the next scenario a 3, and it'll just keep going on to infinity if I have it configured to reset a value at never. And this is really good for use cases such as this. Let's say we have a contact form. We're listening to that via webhook. So anytime someone submits a response, let's say a new lead, we're sending that information through this workflow, and then we're alternating between these two people on our sales team. So we're handing off one lead to Jake. Then the next time we're handing off another lead to Nicole, and then back to Jake, and then back to Nicole, one at a time. We're just alternating back and forth. So let's submit a response. So we've got Elon Musk, rocketman@gmail.com. I need help automating my social media content creation and posting. We're gonna hit submit on that, and it's gonna notify Jake. Now let's submit another response signifying another lead, and you'll see that it'll go down this route and notify Nicole in the Slack channel. For this one, we've got Rick Sanchez, spaceguy@universe.com. I need help with an automation to hunt down rare ingredients. We'll need to set it up to source, track availability, and maybe even auto order the weird stuff as soon as it hits the market. Let's hit submit, go back to make.com, and watch as it goes down the route and notifies Nicole. And it'll keep doing this, alternating between the two forever. Now I'm gonna show you guys how to set this up. So let's hop into a new scenario. Let's go ahead and name this scenario. I'm naming it increment function demo 2. And for the first one, we need a webhook. So we're gonna do custom webhook for this, and then we're going to add a webhook. I'm gonna go ahead and just copy the same name of the scenario into the webhook name, and then I'm gonna hit save. I'm gonna copy this webhook address, and I'm using Google Forms. We want to tie this Google form to that webhook address. So anytime a form is submitted, we're sending all that data to this new webhook that we're creating. In order to do that, let's go ahead and click this puzzle piece right here and then make for Google Forms because I have it installed. If you guys don't have this installed, you'll need to go to this drop-down menu right here on the top right-hand corner and then get add-ons, and it'll take you to the Google Workspace Marketplace. You'll search for make, and then you can find make for Google Forms. It's by make.com itself. You'll need to install that to your Google Workspace. Once that's all done, you'll find it in the add-ons underneath the puzzle icon right here. Make for Google Forms, we need to configure the webhook. This window will pop up down here. We'll need to paste in our new webhook address and make sure that this box is checked. Go ahead and hit save and then wait for this message right here that says settings saved. You're good, exit out, and let's send some sample data through this so that we can determine the data structure to this webhook. It's currently waiting for some sample data, so let's go ahead and just hit preview and let's send some test data. So I'm just gonna use myself, Mason at automatewhat.com, testing 1, 2, 3, and submit. Let's go back to make.com, and this will turn green and say successfully determined. There we go. And hit OK, hit save. We're done. We don't need to touch this module again. Now for the auto increment function, or the increment function, I should say. You can search for tools, or you can just search increment and it'll pull up right here, increment function. Go ahead and select that. And then we're gonna just keep this as never. So reset a value to never. You can have this reset to after one cycle, after one scenario run. So anytime a scenario is run, it'll reset. But for our use case, we're just gonna say never. Let's go ahead and click OK. Now we need to add a router. In order to do that, flow control, router, and we're going to add Slack. You can add a Gmail module and send an email for that matter. You can send a push notification via iOS on your Apple device. Whatever tools and softwares that you use, you can go ahead and add those right here. In the Slack module, this is how I'm configuring it. I've got my public channel selected. It's just a general test account thread. And for the text, I'm gonna say you have a new lead. And then the name, email, and message I need to map in. And I'm gonna get that from the payload from the webhook because that's just the data that is coming from the Google form. So as for name, I'm gonna go ahead and map in the name, email, message. Really simple. Now, if you don't see these options right here, it's because you haven't successfully determined the data structure in your webhook. And I'm gonna hit OK. I'm gonna go ahead and right click this module, select clone, drag it down here, delete this module, and reconnect, auto align, boom. If you need to, go ahead and reconfigure this to notify in a different channel or a different user for that matter, right? This could be notifying Jake. This could be notifying Nicole. Now for the most difficult part of this automation, it's setting up the filter. Go ahead and click on the first branch. We're gonna go ahead and call this first branch, this first filter, odd, just for the time being. And I'm gonna show you guys how to configure this. So we're gonna go ahead and set the condition to this right here, this variable from the increment function module. It's a number. And then the operator, we're gonna go up here to the math functions. And then down here, we're gonna find this mod operator. It's called modulo, and I'm gonna explain it in a little bit. We're gonna insert the number 2. And then as for this, we're gonna set the numeric operator equal to, and then we're gonna say 1. Go ahead, click OK. Let's set up this filter. It's gonna be almost the exact same thing. So if you want, you can go ahead and copy this. We're gonna name this one even. We're gonna paste that in right there, or you can map it in again. So we've got this variable, this numeric data point from this module right here, the increment function, mod 2, and then change this from a text operator to numeric operators equal to, and then we're gonna say 0 and select OK. Now, for the explanation. Okay, so remember this mod operator right here, it's modulo. It's a function that tells you what's left over when you divide one number by another. Basically, we're dividing this number right here by 2, and then it's telling us at the end what is left over. So if the number left over is 1, it's going to mean that it's an odd number. For example, if you divide 5 by 2, we know that 2 fits into 5 exactly 2 times, and then there's 1 left over. So 5 must be an odd number. So that's why it's going down this route for the odd number. Now, if we divide 4 by 2, right, what is the value remaining after dividing 4 by 2? And the answer is 0 because 2 fits into 4, or 2 fits into any given even number, and there's always 0 remaining. If that's still not making sense, in other words, mod 2 right here, mod 2 is like asking what's left after dividing by 2. If the answer is 0, it's an even number. If the answer is 1, then it's an odd number. And by using this logic, we can alternate between these two people each time that someone submits this form. So if we back out of this scenario, let me go ahead and just submit some new sample data. I'm just gonna send some sample data and submit this form. So let's submit, and then let's go back to make.com, and you can see that it goes up this route. And let's take a look. So it spit out the number 1. It's going up the odd route, right? Now let's go back and submit another response, and you'll see that it should spit out the number 2 and travel down this route because it's an even number. And then it'll just keep doing that back and forth all the day long. Hit submit, go back to make, and we're gonna see that it'll kick on. And because it was an even number, it's traveling down this route instead. You can keep these filters labeled as odd and even, or you can label them whoever you are notifying, whether it's an individual or a team, or however you want to set this up, or whatever use case you want to use this logic for. Always hit the save button and you're good. That is the increment function in make.com. I hope you guys liked that video. If you guys want more tutorial videos and have any ideas or things that you want further clarification or explanation on, go ahead and leave those in the comment, and I'll be sure to take those into consideration and make some videos for you guys. Thanks, guys.